rebuilding. The catastrophic failure, a new start, physically, mentally, our careers, our businesses. Step back, first step, next step. The driver in me just wants to get it done tomorrow. We'll do this, do that, let's move this, where are we at with this? You build some confidence, build some self-esteem, start to feel better about yourself. The Silverback Blueprint Podcast, a show for men over 40. We focus on getting stronger, staying motivated, building discipline, creating a community, and becoming truly happy. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 8 of the Silverback Blueprint Podcast. Ooh, that's the first time I don't fuck that up. Awesome. Cool. I'm a pro. Today I want to talk about how quickly a week can derail. You know, when we're sitting there and we're trying to, do our best and make the improvements and do all the positive things that we have to do, there's only one little problem, is that little sneaky thing called life will get in the way. And, we don't want to make excuses, but we also have to understand or recognize when shit gets in the way and we realize that we're not getting the things done we're supposed to be getting done. So I'll give you an example. Last week was a crazy week, and it doesn't matter when this week happened because these weeks happen to us all the time on a semi-regular basis, especially when you have a lot going on. So I had a lot of things I had to get done. We're implementing a new system at the gym for sign-ins, electronic stuff. So anytime you want to get things done, you got to work on it and you got to focus, which is, hard to do to begin with. But then once you get started, you got to stick with it, right? So there was a lot of nights last week where I was at the gym till like 11, 12, 1 a.m. because sometimes that's the quietest time to work, but also that's just kind of when you get the ball rolling, and you don't want to quit things midstream. So, I mean, that's what you do, right? You work harder when you have to, you focus and you get shit done. However, the flip side of that is that, getting up at 7 in the morning and 6 in the morning wasn't working out too well. So I found myself sleeping in till 8, 9, 10, 10:30. I don't have to be anywhere in the mornings, so it's not that big a deal. So I don't have quite that same pressure. But the problem is, it started becoming a bit of a spiral. So I was hitting, the hay hitting the pillow later and later, and then getting up later, and then feeling rushed. And then the problem with that is, the moment that happens, you look back and you realize, oh, geez, I haven't eaten well in 2 or 3 days, or I haven't exercised in 3 or 4 days. So today I was out doing a power walk. It was a beautiful day, and I wanted to get out there. And just as a small example of how quickly things can change, I hadn't really done my walks in about 10 days. My back was stiff. My back was stiff from not doing it. And then when I got out there and started walking today, about 10, 15 minutes in, my back was tired. And it was because the detraining effect had started to happen already. I'm not sleeping well. I'm sleeping weird hours. So all that affects, your back and, how you settle into your mattress and stuff. And then you're stiffer. But the inactivity was really the big culprit. And the same with the food. When I look back, I'm like, holy shit, just the food wasn't that good. It didn't make any sense. But, at the moment, you're like, oh, yeah, I'll get that meal. Right now, I'll just eat this, or I'll skip this. Or then by the time you get down, I'm in here, getting back from the gym at 1:30 in the morning, you're ravenous. And, if there's nothing ready because you didn't have a chance to do some food prep because your schedule's all out of whack, next thing you know, you're reaching for the wrong stuff. You're reaching for what's available, and, you're taking down 15 granola bars. 14, I didn't want to exaggerate. But, it just happens really quick. And it's kind of the thing where you kind of look back. In fact, this is what happened on Sunday, is I was sitting by the pool and just happened to look down at the gut. And I'm like, oh, man, you know what? I haven't been working out, and it was that reminder. So I'm like, that's it. We're going to get up. We're going to get things going. We're going to do some food prep today. I even told my wife, Dolly, we got to get on top of food prep. 20 minutes later, she's like, hey, you want to go for Harvey's? And I'm like, oh, okay, let's go to Harvey's, right? And again, right, it's easy to fall out of sync. But when we got back, got some food prep going, fired up the barbecue, got a bunch of food ready, and as quickly as he derailed, you can get back on as well. So it doesn't take long, and it's recognize it as soon as you can. Give yourself, a little bit of time to course correct, and then get back on it overall. But it's like a blink of an eye, and next thing you know, it's 7 days, it's 10 days. So, you can be working super hard on something, starting to get some really good results, and then you have one slip up and you're not conscious of it, right? If you don't have strong routines or you let other things get in the way, a day slip up, a 2-day slip up can quickly become 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, right? We see it all the time. People, haven't been in the gym for a couple of months, and then, they're back and they're fighting and they're frustrated because they've lost some ground. But then when you have that conversation with them, you're like, well, what happened? What caused this? And you know what? A lot of times they're not even sure, right? They can't pinpoint that one incident where it happened. They just know that, they hadn't come in. And then you get this weird thing where, you haven't been training in a while and you're not looking forward to that first workout back because it's going to be tougher. So then you start putting it off because of that, right? No one wants to run headlong into a brick wall. So, you next thing you know, you're just, you're procrastinating, and that's the motherfucker that gets you even further down that derail road. So what I had to do to snap it is one of the guys I train with in the mornings just texted me on the Sunday night, says, hey, you good for the workout tomorrow morning? And of course it was 1:30 in the morning, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta get to bed. So went to bed, set the alarm for 6, and got up. And that was tough. I was tired, but that was the critical move that got me up, got me down to the gym. I got that workout in, and 4 or 5 days later, back in a groove, right? So it was recognizing it, pivoting on that, and making that one decision, that one line in the sand, saying, this is what I have to do. And then make that one move. And a lot of times that's the one thing that gets you back into it overall. So again, it happens to all of us. The better we get at recognizing it, the better we get at establishing smarter, stronger routines and really holding tough to those routines. My hat's off to guys I see that can sit there and, they have a ritual and they don't break it for anybody or anyone. And when they have to, you can see that it stresses them or puts them off or it knocks them off their zone, if you will. And I think it's fantastic. And that's one of my goals, is to get better and tougher at that, and just sit there and say, listen, you're the master of your own destiny for most of it, right? I don't do this in the day until this and this and this is done. It's that simple. So it's to get back to it. It's to do those little things and then get back in that groove, and then know that, hey, once you've been doing it for a little bit and once you're back in that groove, it's a lot easier again. And in fact, it feels comfortable again. You feel like, oh, I'm home. I'm where I'm supposed to be. It's like when you've been gone on a trip and you've been staying at the in-laws for 4 days or 3 weeks or something crazy like that, right? When you get back home and you get back into your own bed, there's nothing like it. You actually feel comfortable. You feel better. And it's the same thing. When we get back into those positive routines, we just feel more at peace, more focused. And then you just realize subconsciously that you're doing the right things again, and you start to feel better and you get more shit done. And, the momentum goes the other way. So again, things can derail quickly. Recognize it as fast as you can. Have that pivotal move. And for some people, it'll be a workout. It'll be a food prep. They'll have one thing that they'll use as, that's what I'm using to snap back into that routine overall. And recognize what that is. Have that sort of, like in the case of emergency, break glass and go to it. And then, when you see it, recognize it and pivot on it right away. So that's it for today, guys. Listen, help us out if you can. Like us and review us on iTunes. It helps us out a lot. If you have any questions, again, kurthaas@gmail.com. We're here. Anything I can do to help you guys. You have any ideas? We've got a couple more interviews lined up, hopefully soon. We're just waiting to hear back on a few people. And I'm here to help you guys. So I'll talk to you guys later.